Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, this is kind of a combination between my two channels because I want to ask, is the royal family one of the 13 families that run the world? A lot of indication that they are, that they're actually look like they only have soft power, but they really are one of the big families. So I've got the Citadel out, and we're going to ask, is the British royal family, are they one of the original or one of the 13 families that run the world? And it's kind of a combination of both channels, really it is. But I thought this channel we talk more about the elites and the people who run the world and the mysteries around them and the hoaxes and the Soros and et cetera, et cetera. Politicians and they're just puppets. Yes, even Trump. Um, let's find out. Is the British royal family one of the 13 families that is ruling the world right now from behind the scenes? Sometimes they're hidden in plain sight. Sometimes they are. And is that why the Bolsheviks wanted to get rid of them in Russia? Okay. Cards are ready. Shall we begin? The guide, inheritance, correction, but it's in reverse. Well, we have to remember the original British royal family is not who's on the throne right now. The gambler, loss and risk. The hunter, sure-footedness. I'm trying to read upside down. Predestination in reverse. The walker, at the unknown, a journey. The warrior, perfectionism, burnout in reverse. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, they definitely are not one of the 13 families. The orator, communication, confidence. I'm going to say that in some respects, they're puppets. Like they're a front, the orator. So they are a front of what needs to be said. That's why they're part of the WEF, right? Sometimes these things are like hidden in plain sight. And it just occurred to me. Yeah, the Alkalite, new projects learning in reverse. Yeah, they have been involved for many, many years. Many, many years. And they're just a front, just as no different than Biden, Macron, Trudeau. That's why they all get along. The shepherd, celebration, family on top of the walker here. Yeah, it's just, and that's why they keep it in the family, and they're trying to keep the family clean. The cartomancer, delivering news, collaboration. Look, we have two hands here with mystical and mystery things on it. I'm going to say that I think that they are part of ancient traditions. Like some of the dukes are like the grand master of this, of masons, and another duke is the grand master of the Knights of Malta or something like that. I'm going to say that they are more involved. They are more involved in that level, but they're not part of the 13 families. Yeah, the Smith, overthinking, taking action in reverse. Yeah, I'm overthinking things. Oh, the aspirant, ambition, diligence, setbacks. And look again, look at these keys. These keys are all over Switzerland. All over Switzerland. These two keys, it's also on the Hierophant card. And I'm going to say that they are at a level. See, oh, look, the clock agrees with me. That is obviously higher up. It's inherited, it's inheritance, but they are part of the whole works of it. The catalyst, radical changes, taking control. Again, more mystical symbols on there on this warrior one. I'm going to say that they are not one of the 13 families, but they are part of a club or a level that is part of the alchemist, the esoteric whole part of it. And you think about it, like you look at the coronation, how esoteric that is. You look at the reigning sovereign, the reigning monarch, they are the head of the Church of England. Like there's a lot of spirituality and esoteric. Queen Elizabeth I was very much an alchemist, very much a Rosicrucian, followed astrology. And I mean, John Dee was her main advisor, and he spoke to angels, and they were very much into soothsayers, that they called them, and whatnot at that time. And I think this is the level that the royal family is on. Look at this. They are tied by strings. They are tied. They're not the knife. They want, I'm gonna say accepting help and guidance, the fate. They may want to untie themselves of some of the strings. The pilgrims, opportunity, growth. Look at all the reversals we had, and now we have upright. The botanist, oh, that's Charles. Parenthood, legacy. And the muse, generosity, naivety. The miser, stubbornness, inflexibility. I'm going to say that uh, I'm gonna stick with that they are not part of the 13 families, but they are part of a different level. And they may have recently, perhaps when Queen Elizabeth II died, they have released themselves of some uh, obligations and strings that are being pulled. And I think it has something to do with Charles, because he is the botanist. He loves his gardening and his flowers and whatnot. He's also a very much of a miser, stubbornness, inflexibility. Um, People talk about how cheap he is, how he makes them. He's worn like the same suit jacket, since '78 or something like that. I think there's nothing wrong with that, personally. Also, this miser could be Andrew. Perhaps he's the one who they're cutting loose, now that they've completely um, obliterated him right out of the family. And he is known to be a miser. He's known to be very stubborn, inflexible, and perhaps when you look at this, it's time to release him and it's time to let him go. I'm going to say that. Like the catalyst, radical changes, taking control, accepting help and guidance. I'm going to say that after Queen Elizabeth II passed away, things started changing. And part of it is letting Andrew go for whatever reason. Maybe he didn't listen. Maybe he knows too much. Um, but no, they are not part of the 13 families that rule the world. But they are part of the machine. Absolutely, absolutely part of the machine. And part of the ritual was letting Andrew go. Let's see if we got some clarifiers here. Let's see, we got some clarifiers here. The royal family involvement with the 13 elite. Do they at least know some of them? Apparently they're so secretive that not every, like even people way up at the top don't know who all of them are. do they at least know who some of them are? I can't see why they wouldn't. Perfume, vanity, deception, performity. Yes, you know what? The thing is with perfume is it announces you before you enter the room. It's it spreads, right? The essence, the aroma, the aura spreads. So I'm going to say that they may know some of the females. They may know some of the females. Foundation stone, building something, steps, origins. You know, on their coronation, they have that stone that's supposed to be from Egypt. So I'm going to say that they are in the upper echelons, but they are of a different track, right? They originally came from Egypt. Locket, commitment, loved ones, partnership. They just keep to themselves. They actually they just keep to themselves. They did bring that there's that foundation stone that they have to sit on for their coronation. It's I believe it's up in Scotland right now. Lots of mythology around that it, originally one of the pharaohs had to escape, or their daughter had to escape, and her name was Scotia, and that's where we get Scotland from, and Nova Scotia in Canada as an offshoot. And apparently, like, there's even a gravesite up there. And she was Akhenaten's daughter, Nefertiti and Akhenaten's daughter, when Akhenaten was chased out of Egypt. And apparently, she brought some of these magical things with her, and one of them is this stone. And so I wonder if they are in the upper echelons. They aren't part of the 13 families, because they have their own origin story, but they keep to themselves. And maybe perhaps this is why they call blue bloods. And you, for many many years, they only you had to breed with your own, to keep the blue blood. So was that blood actually very special, and that's why it was called blue blood? There's a lot of theories about that. And I'm going to say that um, they may know some females, but they don't care. They just keep to themselves. They're just doing what they need to do to stay where they are, right? And you just be good, royals, and stay there. We're going to cut all the cords, and you're going to lose everything. I think that's what they're doing. Also, this locket makes an egg, and this is the perfume of. So it's something about passing down from the mother. Uh, is that why they always look for a virgin for the queen who's going to birth the next monarch? Possibly something there. I think it's the Jewish faith that everything's passed down through the mother. I'm not saying they're Jewish at all, but that would go back to perhaps something that happened. Maybe that was something that they did in ancient Egypt. Was who's your mama? You always prove who your mama is, and as perhaps that's why a doctor has to see the baby come out of the birth canal. So you always know who the mama is, no doubt about that. Think of it, think about these things. All right. Thank you very much for watching. What do you think? Do you think they're part of the 13 families, or do you think they're just a front? You think they're just the orators? They just show communication, confidence. Listen to us. Look at that, even the crown, the laurel crown there. Listen to us. We're royals and we know what's best. And if you don't, then the WF is going to cut all our strings and we'll have nothing. I'm kidding. Kidding. Everybody calm down. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Please take good care. See you online. Fare thee well.